Alright, welcome back J44 fans. We have one more major assembly to put together, and that would be what is called the stator assembly. The stator assembly, meaning it doesn't rotate, it's a stationary part of the engine, so that would be this combustor or combustion chamber and the outer casing, and let's see, the fuel system, which is part of the combustion chamber. You would also have the stator, turbine stator, turbine nozzle. That's fixed in place at the very back of the casing. So we will start assembling this case stator non-rotating central part of the engine, and once that's all assembled, it will be one component, one unit. Once we start the final assembly of the engine and its components and these sub-assemblies, if you will, because we can then start from the front of the engine, work our way up, and lowering these components and assemblies onto and stack them, as you've seen Jay do in his videos. Keep the weight distributed and down and even so that everything fits together, nothing's in a bind. Alright, so what we're going to do is, using the service manual, the field maintenance manual, we will follow the steps of reassembling this stator assembly. So here we go, and we'll see what happens. When we get done here and maybe a couple of videos, we'll have us a nice stator assembly ready to roll. Stand by, we'll be right back. We'll get started. We have our service manual here handy, and we're reading some instructions here. And main stator assembly, reassembly. Okay, so we'll follow directions and what it's how to proceed. Alrighty. And we have some pieces, parts here for this overall project. We're going to start with the main, I guess, first step will be installing the turbine stator or turbine nozzle, and that is held in place with these three stainless steel bolts, and they have a little boss pin, whatever you want to call that, and it protrudes into the stator outer ring, and then there are some places for that, and that locks it in place. And of course that goes right here. So this is our cowling, and there are three of these bosses which will hold the turbine nozzle, which is over there. We're here. Alright, we have some other parts here. You can see we have the this is a combustion chamber inner liner. So this forms a tube or hollow, passageway for our main shaft inside there, and air is allowed to pass through there and go out and help cool not only that shaft, but the air comes out right at the face of the turbine wheel here at the end. Wait a minute. Air goes in this end. This end attaches to our diffuser housing. So this is the front of the engine, and air will be directed down this passage along around the outside of the rotating shaft, and then it will come out at this end inside here. It will come out and hit the face of the turbine wheel, and that will help cool it. And it also will keep heat away from the shaft, because this side over here will be where the fire is, or the hot side. Of course, fire never touches this, right? We have a big blast of air coming through here, so we're not going to have fire here. We're going to have wind. Okay. Alrighty, so what we got to do here is set the camera up, and we will get our stator installed. And the first thing it says is to coat the threads with an anti-seize compound. These are probably stainless steel, nice, shiny, beautiful pieces. Got them cleaned up real nice. We're going to put a little anti-seize on there. That helps coat the threads so that you get proper torque readings, and it will keep them from seasoning up. Alright, so stand by. We're about to start having fun here. We're putting this thing back together. Okay, we've applied anti-seize compound to one of our turbine nozzle retainer bolts, and we're going to now thread this in and get it started. Lean down here and block the camera and thread that in. Okay, we don't want that to protrude into the case. We just want to get it started where it's ready, and then we'll get this thing in place here. Okay, there's our 3 screws started, 3 bolts started. We're ready to lower this beast in here. And turbine stator installing into cowl. Take 1. Now this is probably not procedure they have in mind. Okay, there it is. Right, so now guess what? Torque the fasteners to the proper spec. Next step. So stand by while we get out a torque wrench and a socket. We'll crank that baby down. Alrighty, we got our book. They suggest minimum 200 inch-pounds, maximum 400 inch-pounds. So guess what? I'm aiming for 300 inch-pounds. Well, okay, I got the calculator here, and we did 300 inch-pounds divided by 12, which will give me foot-pounds. I got 25. Alright, so we're going to use 25 foot-pounds because my inch-pound wrench only maxes out at 200, and I'm aiming for 300, so I have to switch to this wrench, which is a foot-pound wrench. It does not have inch-pounds. So we converted. That's 25. So I've set her to 25. And don't tell Jay, this is a Craftsman. It's not a Snap-on. I'm sorry. So here we go. Let's try good old Craftsman. Look at there. Does that seem like 25 foot-pounds? 25, and this one. Okay, double check, 25. Okay, that one's tight. Yep. One more. And there we go. Now we'll dial our wrench back down to 0 for storage. There we go. Okay, again, I apologize for the background noise. We have the air conditioner running, and we have satellite radio on in the background too, so you might hear some racket. Just disregard. I have already lock wired 2 of the 3 turbine nozzle retainer bolt, so we're going to go ahead and just do one more here, and we'll just video that and spare you all the. We will spare you the boring details. Let's see if we can't get us a nice quick lock wire job here without cussing, and see if I can do it on camera. Not fail. And then there's a nice hole drilled in the edge of this flange. It's just too tight. There we go. You know what? Nope. There you go. That's going to be a whole lot better. Okay, get a nice grip here, get them even with each other pretty much. lock her down, give it a good snug tug, and then we'll give her some twists here. It's pretty tight there. Cut that off. And then we'll go ahead and put a nice curly Q. Okay, lock wire. And the next step will be to flip the whole thing over, just invert it, and we'll be ready to start installing the combustion chamber inner liner and the combustion chamber itself. So it's starting to go together, starting to look like something. Alright, you can see I've flipped this cowling over per the instructions in the maintenance manual. So now that this would be the front of the engine facing up, that end of the cowling anyway. And it says now to install this combustion chamber inner housing. And let's get this pilot over the outside of it. There it is. And it says align 2 of these bolts with the vertical plane. I guess best we can. There it is. See, that fits snug right over that. And as I said, now maybe you can see. You can help me lift this. And it's more that it's not heavy, it's more that it's awkward. Yeah, so if we just lift carefully here on each side, we're just picking it up. It doesn't weigh that much. So much. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Now we're back to this again, right? Try to line up with that shroud down there. Just gotta go your way at the bottom of the suit, yeah. Well, it's close, it's not quite, is it? Of course, then this moves around a little bit, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's quite down in here. No, it isn't. I think we got a mess with it. Lift that side up for me. Over here, of course. Just lift it up. There.
What happened to the green thing?
It's on the floor. Oh. You can pop it back in there if you want to. Yeah, there we go. There it goes.
It's not lined up with the hook now.
Well, of course it is.
Okay.
That better?
Yeah.
I think I twisted it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, well that's probably, there's a certain amount of play, so now we got to get those retainer pins in. Cool. Starting to look like something, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I guess, whatever you want to call it. Looks like junk, doesn't it, to you? No, not really. It's got a little art to it. It has a purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's just not front room artwork.
Right.
We're going to stop right here so we can split this into next section of the Stator Assembly. So we'll resume installing the, with part 2, and that will be installing the combustion chamber retainer pins and the screws and so forth. I don't know if I can get this whole Stator assembly into 2 parts, so it'll probably end up being in 3 parts. Anyway, we'll wrap this up right now and keep an eye out for part 2. That'll be soon to follow this release, and then part 3 we should be able to conclude the entire Stator assembly. Right? So appreciate your time and efforts. Thanks again for watching.